GM. GM. Since it is only one day from the first presidential debate, let's take a look at some of the coins. Look, I mentioned I'm not getting long Bowden because the reaction I've seen off the lows is one of probably just profit taking, and it's following this scribble pretty well so far. But what I would expect possibly during the debate, you might see a spike, and then that's it. I don't think Bowden's going to sustain any long rally here because it hasn't shown that kind of impulse as yet. Any bounce, any squeeze, or any push higher that happens on Bowden, I expect it to retrace. And I think the market knows that too, which is why, like I said yesterday, it's not as simple as just, oh, fucking Bowden's definitely great to buy now because the presidential debate. Don't forget where you are on the information hierarchy, right? People were buying Bowden here at 9 cents, at 7 cents, at 9 cents, with the express intention of dumping on other people here when they think it's safe, in air quotes, to buy it, right? People did not want to buy Bowden down here, and then because the debate's coming and the price didn't collapse, people want to buy Bowden here. But that's just an easy 2x for some of these people, like buy it at 8 cents, sell it at 16. Easy 50% to 70% returns in size. There's millions of dollars traded. So currently, I think that's just going to be the case. I don't. If Bowden was going to be ripping higher into this particular debate, I think it would have already done so. It doesn't mean it can't do well in future. But I look at that and say, okay, this is probably the very start of a PS, preliminary stop. So not actually the bottom. And you might see a move up. Let me get rid of some of this. I'll get rid of all this shit. And you might see a move up at some point, but probably Bowden goes down into its actual bottom and then it forms out. And then boom, away it goes into the election, if it's going to go. I wouldn't be surprised to see actually one more push down. But regardless, the point of this trade of the day is I just don't think there's much edge in buying Bowden here. Or any election coin, really. I think my feeling of what I see on the charts and my feelings with the way price action's developing is that none of these coins are going to moon just because of a debate. The structures are not there, the setup's not there. So that's Trump, same thing. Like, can it have a pop? Absolutely. Is it going to moon from here? I don't think so. And by the way, when I say this, it's a news event, it's an attention event. When the actual debate happens, which is like, over here, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of spike. But it's not going to be that. But my point is, any spike on the debate is probably just going to retrace. I think that's like what we'll get at best. So like day trader scalpers, sure, if you have a setup, that kind of thing, it's going to be the most relevant event tomorrow, right? So that's good. But I don't think it's just going to like give everyone moon bags. The MAGA coin setup on this one's actually better because it bottomed out. It bottomed out earlier. So it bottomed out and it consolidated and it's breaking out from there. Putting in a bit of a reversal candle on the 4 hours, you'd have to wait and see. If it resists going lower, you might see another push. But again, that's just a push up into resistance, which I would expect to be a lower high. That's the expectation I would have for something like that. Lower high initially, come all the way back down. If it's going to be good, it'll go again later on in the cycle. What else? There's obviously the DJT one that was all the rage last week. The Trump coin. Right. So this one, they're talking about, is Barron Trump involved? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Yes, he is. No, he isn't. That one is, the good thing about this is that it does have a lot of attention, right? It's got mind share. People know about it. They care about it. There was a lot of controversy. And whether it's official or not, it doesn't matter if it's got enough attention and mind share and whales accumulate it and then they pump it. Again, tomorrow, the debate, big thing, big relevant news event, it could spike up. But I would fully expect it to just retrace the whole thing. So again, if you're not, and I'm more so saying this as sort of a semi-warning, that tomorrow you're probably going to see some of these coins pump randomly, and do not end up being the guy that's in the top of the wick, because after tomorrow's debate, it's 2 months or more until the next debate, and most of this stuff is probably just going to sell off and bleed, exit liquidity, right? There's rumors about Vivek being Trump's VP, so obviously this new Vivek is moving up. I don't think he will be, though, so I personally wouldn't bet on that. I say there's rumors about it, but I don't know. My assumption is that it's not going to be, so I wouldn't touch that. What other... Is there another Trump coin or another... There's a Joe Biden coin. I think it's on ETH. Yeah. That one's like moving actually okay. Probably could have a spike. And same thing goes for any of those coins. I think if Trump actually announces his VP tomorrow or the next day, he probably will do it after the debate. He has said he's going to announce it, I think, this week. That will be one where it's, whether it's Vivek or I think Ben Carson or JD Vance. I think they're like the 3 front runners. Those coins will have a bit of relevance. But overall, the way things are moving as we go towards that debate would tell me that some of these can pop. I would expect the pop to be quite short-lived, the pump, and they will go back to bleeding. I don't think they're setting up really well for continuation extended rallies. I think Bowden is trying its best to just get off the bottom. And when you're doing that, we're trying to get off the bottom like that. If it does spike, like it did over here back in May, it's just going to get sold into because it's still too soon. If for example, if Bowden had already been going sideways, right? So if Bowden had already done this and back down and held, was there and like that. If you're like that going into the debates, that's when you're going to have a big lift off that doesn't come back. Right? That's where it actually breaks out into a new area of the range. I just don't see it coming from this one yet, as it's going to move straight up into resistance even if it does, and it's going to find a resistance and fall back. So that's some of the election coins. We'll keep an eye on that going into tomorrow. GM, GM, GM.